Processing models. The co-autonomous model. It's a mind activity and it all occurs in your mind. There are 3 steps. The first step is the concentrate step, which is where you focus and understand the message. Step 2 is the representation step, where you conceptualize and you start to take the meaning. From the source language. And then the third step is the planning step, where you organize the information into the target language using background knowledge of the target culture as well. You find the best way to show the information in the target language. The next model is the GISH model. What is the goal of this communication? Is it a doctor's appointment to find out why the person's sick? Is it a teacher-student communication? Is it a parent-child communication? What is the goal of that communication setting? The speaker, you need to find out the speaker's theme. So what is the main topic? You also need to find out the speaker's objectives, so the main ideas for that communication setting. And then the supporting details and the supporting points. So the supporting details, you may need to expand on that information. And then the Coakley model. The Coakley model refers to these things as miscues or mistakes, errors. So it's said that when the errors decrease when the interpreter understands where the errors are occurring. So in which of the 7 steps? The miscues are called omissions, where you are missing information from the source language when it is translated into the target language. Additions are when the interpreter adds information. Maybe it's their own background knowledge or their prior information because they from a different setting. Substitutions, that's when an interpreter makes a wrong sign or uses the wrong word or has the wrong meaning behind that word, or they add less or more meaning to the source language. Intrusions are when the target language is still more formed in the source language. Anomalies. Anomalies are when the interpretation has no meaning. So, like, you thought that the source language, you took the meaning from it, but then when you interpret it into the target language, it had the incorrect meaning. And then the 7 steps in the Coakley model, there's step 1, which is the message reception, which is, can you understand the message? Is it formed correctly? Can you hear it? Can you see it? Step 2 is the preliminary process. So can you understand the message? Do you know what they're saying? Do you know what the words mean that they're saying? Step 3 is the short-term message retention. So that's where you start to break down the message and start to chunk it so you understand the different parts of the message. And you're still waiting for the idea to finish, but you may start to move some of the pieces into the target language form. Step 4 is the semantic intent realized. That's where the interpreter now understands the full meaning and can now break it into its separate parts. Step 5 is the semantic equivalency determined. That is where the source language is lost and the interpreter now focuses on changing the meaning so that it makes sense in the target language. Step 6 is the syntactic message formalization. The interpreter now starts to make sure the message makes sense. They practice it in their head and rehearse it a little bit to make sure that they have the meaning correct. And then it's in an understandable format. And then step 7 is message production, and you interpret the message in the target language.